I got it. I got it. It's a damn folder. Hold up. Go ahead, Troy.
Also, no intro.
It's oh, it's right there. No, it's not. Nah, not right now.
Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is
Oh,
Troy Hill Talks.
got it.
From nowhere, from nowhere, from nowhere, from nowhere.
Hello. My name is Troy Hill. This is Troy Hill Talks, where we're keeping it real with real talk. How you guys doing? How you feel here on this wonderful Thursday evening? I have my co-host with me, Sir Sturdy. How you doing? How's your week been, bro?
So far so good, man. I mean, got a light cold. Um, Other than that, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just chilling.
Yep,
Was
it's
just
been.
discussing some Underworld and Resident Evil over on my show about an hour ago. Well, a little over an hour ago now. Hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tune into that conversation because I'm intrigued because Resident Evil the movie series is an epic failure in
You
my
you
estimation.
you should jump on for one of the episodes, man. For one or two episodes, you should
I
jump
think
on
I
with
might
us.
do that because I love Resident Evil the game, and when the first movie dropped, I was like, what the hell is this?
Hmm.
And then at that specific time with just video game movies and the genre in general, they always deviate from the video game in some type of way.
It was rough. They were rough back in. They didn't start getting good.
Yeah,
So I mean, with with I'll say Sonic and Mario, the only difference is with those two movies, with those two games, there's not really like a story to it. You're just kind of side scrolling. I mean, with Mario,
yeah.
basically save the princess. That's
Yes,
basically what it is.
which for what Mario was is one of those movies is one of those movies that you will enjoy, but you might never watch again in your entire life, and that's how Mario the movie is with me. I will never watch it again in my entire life. Enjoyed
I
it, loved it at the movie theater, but I'll probably never watch it again. That's
I
that.
would like say,
Yeah.
okay, I'll give you two. One, if my wife wanted to watch it, or two, like say if one of my little nieces or nephews or something like that was around, hey, let's watch. I'm not gonna say no to them.
Oh yeah. Oh, well,
Like
also my 15-year-old ass, I would say no. Let's play some video. Go ahead and get these
yeah,
sticks and play some.
no, but
Kill.
if you had like if you had a grandchild and they were like, pop, will you watch this movie with me? You're gonna be, hell no, little motherfucker, get away from me with that bullshit. Little drive
just,
turkey, get away from me
yeah,
with that drive ass movie.
just just get out of here. But no, that's actually an excellent topic to talk about sometime. Just the video game movie genre.
Yeah.
But today we got something much bigger, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about the legends of horror. We selected two villains or monsters, you might call them, and stuff from movies and movies past. And
Hmm.
today we've picked Dracula from 1931 in the original Frankenstein from the Universal Movie Monsters. And we have none other from the Scene Snobs producer Paul joining us this evening, and
Yes, yes,
he's gonna be showing up here in a few moments.
yes.
Just looking forward to it.
Boom.
And there he is, right there. The man, the legend, producer Paul from the Scene Snobs. How are you doing this evening,
What's good,
sir?
Paul?
Hey, I'm doing great, you guys. I'm glad to be on. I'm glad to be talking about Legends of Horror. I'm super excited to
Well,
have these topics tonight.
we're
Can I ask?
certainly glad that you're here. Go ahead, Sir Sturdy.
Can I ask you a question, Paul? Are you a big
Yeah.
fan of Nope?
No. Why would you? Why would you say that?
Are It's okay if you are. I'm
No,
not
I'm
mad
a
if you
huge
are.
fan, man. I got the sweater on. I know it's my background right
That's
now.
a
I
dope
didn't mean to
sweater.
do that.
No, because because we just talked about Jordan Peele's movies last month,
Yes.
and it was I like all three of his movies a lot.
Mhm.
Us is my favorite, but just seeing the background, I'm like, Paul's not just putting that up just to put that up. That means something.
Yep.
those those weird alien things in Nope.
So I mean so technically just with Paul being on there, so Paul like Nope the best, I'm assuming.
Honestly, I'd probably say Us I like the best, but the
Okay.
cinematography and Nope
It is
and
incredible.
the originality of making an alien film that was outside the realm of what anyone has ever done, in my opinion,
Hmm.
was enough for me where I'll give credit where credit is due. I was blown away by Nope. That sealed the absolute deal with Jordan Peele for me. in all
See,
three.
Where would you list Nope out of the three? Like for me, it was Us. Nope was third for me. Excuse me. It was Us, Get Out, then Nope.
Okay. See, I go Us, Nope, then probably Get Out, honestly.
and see, I'm Get
tough,
Out,
but it's-
I'm Get Out, Us, and Nope. You
So
Okay.
we have three different. I love how we have. I mean, the two tops for me and Paul are the same, but the rest is different, and for you, all three is different, which I just think is dope. But
Yeah.
we all really enjoyed those films, whether you loved them
Mhm.
or liked them. We all really enjoyed those three films, which is saying a lot.
Well, see, I mean, to me, it was just Get Out in general. I felt like it was more grounded. It was something that could happen more in reality than the other two. That's the reason why I probably put that one up. And plus, when it came out, it was like the first, and it was very, very trendy. It was like the cool thing to do. I mean, I saw that in the movie theater like 2 or 3 times and stuff. So, I mean, it's to me, it's good stuff. But anyways, before we delve off too far, because it's so easy talking about these movies, we got Dracula and Frankenstein. First, we're gonna hop into Frankenstein, 1931. It follows Dracula as he travels to Transylvania, London, spreading his vampire curse. And I think we picked two great movies because my opinion on one is completely, they're just like completely the opposite. One is very, very high and one is one is kind of meh.
In the middle.
Yeah, and it's not because it's just bad. It's just, I don't think it's bad. I just felt it could have been more. So
Can I guess? Before you even tell us that, can I just guess and you don't tell us until you tell the story?
Tell the story? Okay.
Well, not tell the story, but I mean, till we like get into it more. Like, don't answer.
Okay.
This
Sure.
question.
Sure.
Or don't give me a yes. Don't give me a yes or no. And if Paul wants to guess on which one you think it is, like for me, I feel like for you it's Dracula. But I want to wait till you see when you tell your ratings for both.
Well,
I think. Ooh, can I make a guess real quick?
Go ahead and make a guess.
I absolutely, if I had to choose, because I feel like Troy and I are almost on that same level. I think I could be absolutely wrong, but I love Frankenstein more because I can sympathize a lot more with creating something that you meant to be beautiful that doesn't turn out beautiful, and then just kind of
you have
the Shining
effect.
effect.
You have the concept of
Stephen
playing
King.
the concept of playing God, the concept of who is really the villain. There's a whole bunch of other stuff way more going on.
Okay, go ahead. I have another weird twist for the reason why the dude made Frankenstein, but we'll get to it. Frankenstein made the monster. You know what I mean?
But I mean, the way Frankenstein. I mean, to me, in this movie, I guess at one point this actually was a Broadway. It was a Broadway production before it became a movie. This particular one with Lugosi in it, which I mean, we agree Lugosi is the bar for how we interpret Dracula and a vampire to be, which you could see it clearly in this movie. My problem is, outside of the story, is there really a story in this movie? It's like really cohesive that really makes any type of sense whatsoever.
Not really. In my opinion, for me, when I think of that movie, I just think of his interpretation of Dracula, right? Like you said, he sets the bar. I couldn't even tell you any of the other characters really in it if they hadn't made remakes of it. So it's him.
And the thing is, if I haven't seen the movie recently, and see, this is the difference because I saw Frankenstein probably like about a month and a half ago. So I've seen the Dracula here maybe like about a week and a half ago or something like that. And here's the difference. I do remember characters from Dracula. I mean, I remember was it Reinfeld? Yep. Between his interaction with him and Dracula, I thought was great. That was one thing that was very, very intriguing. But these other characters, the boyfriend, the two girls, the doctor, I did not care about. I mean, Van Helsing, a little bit. Mm-hmm. The staff was actually very entertaining to me. It's like, we gotta go catch the loony again. It's like everybody. I think everyone's loony. And even you. I thought that was hilarious. But
right.
There's not a lot of meat and potatoes in this damn thing, man. It's just like, when I say Broadway, it gave me the feel that they were very descriptive in some of the scenes. Like, they like break away and they're like looking off into the distance. Oh, what's that? It's running. They're kind of like being very, very descriptive. It's like a Broadway type of scene.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that, Paul?
So I can agree with that because I love Broadway. I feel like almost to an extent that almost takes away because this is cinema. We can
Mhm.
see what's going on. You don't
Yes.
necessarily need to play with that. Like you can just show us or hand the camera over. We know what's going on.
Mhm.
To me, just because of when it was made, I assumed it was more the director might have started more with silent films. So I think
Yes.
maybe the direction of the writer and stuff like that is due to that because he's used to, oh, we got to put subtext in there to tell
Mhm.
them, oh, they're going to fight. Now they're fighting. And then you see the little boxing scene type thing.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was a little gimmicky, but I think they really took their time with describing Dracula to a T. So I think he had really good direction. That dude looked crazy, man. Like I can't. I've never gotten over his hypnotic gaze.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the camera and the camera and the lighting in those particular scenes is very, very impressive. And I could see maybe somebody in 1931 sitting in a movie theater like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
But it kind of and like I said, it does probably kind of like probably like it does set the bar. But outside of that and just characters I didn't care about, in general, which is like again, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the other girl, and the boyfriend, he was just too hello, my baby, hello, my darling to me and shit, man. You're like, hello, my baby, hello. That's too damn much for me. What's your thoughts on this, Sir Sturdy?
Honestly, I'm with you. I'm with you both on this. With the first of all, Bela Lugosi, he's like the goat of that time. There's
Yes.
no
Mm-hmm.
there's no topping it. But I do like for me, I think I think the big thing for me, like I don't mind this movie. Like I don't love it. I like it. I can say because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
big on vampire films for the most part. Unless like
Mm-hmm.
some of the older ones I do like. There is a few I do like, which I just have to go through my list to check it out. I did them back in November, but they're tough for me. This one I like again. It's I know where I know what it
Mm-hmm.
means to the culture of vampire films and all that good stuff. I respect it for that, but it's just. And going back to what Paul was saying, like how they have like the silent parts, and I feel like I feel like it could also be maybe a transition for people that are more used to the silent films. Like, okay, so we still have a little bit of the silence to kind of give you guys a little comfort, but there's still going to be this, and this in here, which I think is cool. But this is like on honestly for like the Universal monsters, this is on like the lower end for me.
I could say that because the unique thing for a person as old as I am, because I'm gonna be 51 next month. I can
Really?
say, yeah, yes, sir.
I didn't know that. I thought you were in your 30s. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, nope. I'm gonna be 51. But
You, Troy.
I appreciate that. But what I can say is that all these movies, all these Universal classic movies and stuff, they were always on Saturday night TV late at night sometimes. So I'll always have these on or be in passing, but that doesn't mean I've actually sat through and watched every single thing. Because back that time I'm playing with toys and I'm trying to, I got the Rebel Alliance trying to dethrone the Empire and all this shit going on, in the background. So I wasn't really paying attention. So getting a chance to sit down and look at a lot of these films is very interesting. So it's kind of like the impression you have, for a film, because you'll see these characters like every damn where you just search online and see search up Dracula. You're gonna see go before you see any for Christopher Lee or Tom or anything like that, So there's longevity and stuff. There's a history, a rich history with these people. So, and you got action figures and all that type of stuff, So it's a big deal, but I have to agree, just from what I've seen from Universal monster movies, that this will probably be on the lower echelon of movies. And I look at that, just chalk it up to it being the first of the brand. And they're still figuring it out. And they're probably going from that transition of, Broadway or silent film. And that's what that's where the hiccups are at. Because, people will comment and say, for example, the no music thing. I thought no music worked better in Frankenstein than no music worked in working in Dracula. And you had like the sound effects and stuff to kind of like make the scenes really intriguing. There's a lot of trickery you got to do, especially. I give hats off on both films just because what you have to work with. The set building for both films is very, very impressive regardless. Not as impressive as Frankenstein, because Frankenstein to me it's mind blowing in some things, but with this one, it just seems like they were just kind of just figuring the whole process out. I mean, what's your thoughts, Paul?
So my thoughts on for this, I feel like Universal, they knew the other monsters were going to be iconic monsters, and I think that vampires until this one had always been just monsters. They just suck on your blood. They're terrifying, this and that. Luigi's very seductive. It's a seductive vampire, finally.
Yes.
It's an upstanding citizen. So I think they were kind of testing the water with that, being like, all right, well, let's depict him as an evil doer, but he's of high status.
Yes.
He's seduce you. You want to be bit. Like, it's not.
Yes.
Oh no, it's man, I want some of that. Like,
yeah. Don't.
I love that you said that.
Because nobody was complaining until they got bit.
It really did. That's one huge thing that really sticks to it is how they really sexualize vampires. Like,
yes,
back then they did it in a better, classier way, of course, and I wish they still kind of kept it that way. Now it's just like her ass is out. She's a vampire.
Yeah.
But no, like all jokes aside, but like when you go back and look at some of these classic looks, some of these classy looks, or even when they do it now with like more of like the classier, like the old school look with a little sexy tied into it, that's so much better than like showing the whole gift, so to speak. I'm like, we want some mystery. We want some mystery to this. There is times where we don't want any mystery at all, but when it comes to this, like, you want mystery with the story because it fits with the story. Makes the story better, which I know is crazy hearing that from me, but it does make the story better with those, with certain things.
But I mean, I do think that there's still lots of great qualities to be said about this film. I think it's just more so it's a lack of execution. You get an A for the attempt, but the sticking the landing, you just didn't stick the landing. And again, it is not a knock on the movie at all. I mean, I do think it's a movie that everyone must see. If you have not seen this movie, you need to check it out. If you're a fan of the horror genre, you're just a fan of cinematography and things like that and camera trickery, because there's a lot of it in this movie. It makes me wonder, like, I wonder what Alfred Hitchcock would think analyzing this movie.
Right.
Kind of like with like the pull away scene where they're being bitten and you know what's going on, but you just can't see it, because sometimes those are the scenes that are more terrifying because you can visualize it in your mind and you don't need to see it. So it just makes you just wonder what he would think about that film. What's your thoughts, Sir Sturdy?
On the Alfred Hitchcock part or the Frankenstein?
Just the Alfred Hitchcock part. Because obviously he's picked his style from somewhere. You can see some of the things he kind of does.
I think he would appreciate
Psycho.
I think a lot of things. Yeah, I think he would really appreciate it for what it is. And I don't know a shit ton about him, so I'm not gonna say too long on him. But I think he would appreciate it just in the fact of just with the horror genre. I think there's that appreciation across the board, that appreciation and that respect, especially for stuff that really like sticks, like really sticks and really means something.
Yes,
like it's one thing to have a movie that makes, let's just say, just for argument's sake, I'd say it make $100 million. It's another thing to make a movie that's still here 90 years from now and people are still talking about it.
Yeah, well,
so
see,
you made your 100 million, but guess what? They're still talking about 100 years from now.
Yeah. Well, see, that's one of the downsides of movies today, that they're so quick at looking at that budget and how much it took to make this movie to write it off as a failure. I mean, just think about how many movies that you actually sat through and enjoyed within the last 10 years that you just said, "Oh, that's not bad at all." And they tell you it was a failure or whatever, because of the budget or whatever. So there's a bunch of movies like that. But I tell you, Sturdy and stuff. Side note, do yourself a treat one time and lock yourself in a room and watch Alfred Hitchcock and Twilight Zone Ron Serling movies or TV shows all damn weekend long, and you're gonna understand, like, well, just where my thought process on storytelling goes. And the concept of just filming and everything, because those guys get it, and they're not horror, and they're really not horror guys. I mean, they're more suspense-driven guys, in my opinion. But they delve over into where you can look at it a particular way where it can be a form of horror. So
now, I'll say this:
Sure.
Psycho, I'm a fan of, and
Mhm.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Yes.
much respect. I'm a big fan of your mother in that movie, and from those times. Um, and I'm also gonna throw this out there. I'm glad my father never met your mother because that would feel weird saying this because we'd probably be related.
Well, okay.
Had to get
Well,
that out because you mentioned Psycho. All right, I'm good, man.
Well, anything else on well, let's just talk about
Frank,
well, no, let's continue on and then we'll delve into so we want to rank do we want to rank Dracula first or do we want to go into Frankenstein and then go back to the
yeah,
two and
I'll take
compare?
going to Frank because I want to see where you're. I still want to see where you're laying at with the two. So after we
Okay.
rank it,
Okay.
if
All right. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What'd you
no,
have
I
to
was
even though I
just
say?
gonna say,
haven't.
if you don't mind, in my opinion, Alfred Hitchcock was around, well, I guess closer to my age, so he was in his mid-30s when this movie came out. So, in
Mhm.
my opinion, I don't think he watched it like we watch it, right? Because Alfred
Yeah.
Hitchcock was more of a psychological guy. So I think he probably took away from how Dracula was not only attacking people, but playing mind games. You know what I
Yes.
mean? He was taking the
Yes.
subtlety of like threatening, but not being threatening. So I think he watched it probably in a completely different lens than we did. He probably was blown away that this vampire was different and was like watching every little detail as opposed to, oh, just this. I'm sure he loved the camera tricks.
Yes.
Um, but I think it just seems like that was just a talent he had with the camera.
Absolutely.
I think the skill he needed to build up to was being able to psychologically get in our minds and
Mhm.
make everyday life seem not okay. I mean,
Yes.
just birds, it's birds.
Yes.
You see birds every day, they're not threatening. You made them threatening. All
No,
of a
they were
sudden,
they were threatening as hell in that
right,
movie.
right. So I definitely think he always watched things for more of the subtleties and the little like subtitles in there of every
Yeah.
little detail. So
Yeah, man. See that, and the same about Serling with Twilight Zone. It's kind of like the same type of concept. Like the most common mundane thing you could think of, all of a sudden becomes absolutely terrifying. Because it's based in a real world. What makes it terrifying is because it's in a real world situation. And
yeah,
it could happen just like every damn day. I mean, I could be going to work, and all of a sudden, birds are just flying crashing into every
right.
damn thing. And just, I just make a run for it. But one more thing about Dracula. It seemed like the ending and the conclusion was so damn quick. It's kind of like, okay, this movie needs to end. Okay, we gotta end this shit. So this happens, yada yada yada, and that's the end. So I didn't feel like a proper sense of closure neither for this movie at all. But
Yeah.
I felt way more closure for Frankenstein, our next film. Where it just delves into the concept of playing God, creating something beautiful that turns into something absolutely terrifying. Turns into who's the villain, who's the hero, who's not. It turns into a whole bunch of different things. This deals with Henry Frankenstein creating this monster. The opening sequence is incredible. The whole funeral scene, it just seems like creepy. I wish I could have been on the set, just like watching this whole thing unfold and just seeing it film. What did you think about the opening sequence, Paul, of this movie? Because that had me drawn in from the jump. It took me a little bit for Dracula, but for this movie, I was drawn in from jump.
It sets the scene just beautifully for you. To me, that was them, I think, kind of trying to set the tone for you. If because everyone I feel like differs because he's either the villain or the tragic hero. To me, I still see him more as tragic hero, but I feel like that scene makes you automatically in the zone that, oh, tragedy happened. He's a tragic hero. They're trying to point you one direction, which, as we get into it, they always point you in both directions. But
yes,
like you said, it absolutely grabs your attention. You're just wondering what's going on, like what's next. I remember the first time I watched this, 100% that's what it was, because my dad, he saw this in theater when it came out. And this movie gave him nightmares. So like he didn't tell me anything about it. He was like, no, I saw this with a kid with my dad and I was crying. We almost had to leave the theater.
Wow.
So he set the tone for me, because he introduced it to me young, so I could really appreciate, just being scared by just something subtle,
Yes.
So that opening scene, even as a kid, I'm just like, oh, death, okay, what's going on? Oh, he's sat, So I love the opening sequence.
Yeah, I just find just the whole set design of everything in this movie was just just great. You know, it was nice to see. We also have Reinfeld coming back playing the character of Fritz, which Fritz is he's a bastard, dude. I mean, I mean to put it bluntly, I mean, this guy seems like he was a guy that was bullied and stuff all his life, and he finally had a chance to one up and bully somebody else for once, and he just took the stuff way too damn far or whatever, you know. But it's kind of seeing him. I don't know if I still kind of like the Reinfeld, him playing Reinfeld better than Fritz. Because the laugh, that ha ha ha, that laugh, which
got on your nerves.
no, it was funny to me because I'm sitting there thinking about Dracula dead and loving it or whatever. Because the scene is because the guy's laughing the same damn way. He's like ha ha ha. So but I just thought that just creating a monster arising, just all of it, visually stunning. This movie, no background music. This movie worked without it. I mean, what's your thoughts, Paul?
I mean, yeah, it's just absolutely terrifying, and man, it's just so tough.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful, and I think to me, it's a tale of warning that there's too much of anything is not okay. That like we love podcasts, we love horror, but we can't become consumed by it because that eventually. I think that's what happens. So in my opinion, this is a tale of a tragic hero that does become a villain. Those weren't his intentions, but it was his ambition and his quest for science that turned evil because he got so consumed by it. So, it's telling you, don't get too obsessed with it. I mean, Tesla, for instance, Nikolai Tesla, he said the same thing about electricity. It's like, don't let anything consume you this much because it'll take away from your life and take away from people around you. So I think this is just a cautionary tale that it's great to be ambitious and all this, but eventually you become the monster that's a problem, And
I'm really enjoying your take on that because
that was deep.
The idea of passion and consumption for one thing, which it can make you deviate sometimes for the things that are important in your life, and it can make you change, without you even realizing where you're thinking you're doing the better good for yourself or the better good sometimes for society or the better good or maybe for your job or whatever, and you actually might be making things worse. What's your thoughts there, Sturdy?
I was gonna say, and on a lot of times it's not even like it's intentional. It's just like, okay, for example, I'm locked in. Say just because we're podding, I'm locked in for the pod, so I got to do this, and you do that. Have all these shows and shit. And you're preparing for that, but then it's like, oh shit, I'm married. Oh shit, I have this going on. Oh shit, I have that in my life. I have this in my life too. So it's like, consuming too much of that shit can.
especially with horror, because next thing you find yourself watching Ganja and Hess.
He's gonna bring that one up. So I gotta say this really, really quick, right? Is this the scene after he threw the little girl in the water? I'm asking this.
I believe so. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Which is because he has no rhyme or reason or even realizing what the hell he just did.
No, he doesn't.
He thinks he's playing and stuff still. He's not thinking anything.
Yeah.
So that was kind of just a very, very sad scene. But him, the father, walking with his dead daughter, holding her like this, that scene, that's a very, very well filmed scene, I think, in my personal opinion. Just him walking through the town, and then the people are kind of like they're doing their thing. Also, they're kind of like stopping and looking. It's like you just feel you just feel so sorry for this father who just found his daughter this way, and then that's like kind of when the town kind of like turns, right, where all of a sudden, well, Frankenstein is indeed the monster versus Dr. Frankenstein. They kind of like forgiven Dr. Frankenstein for creating this thing. It's like everything kind of like turns and is forgotten, which I thought was kind of just like telling. It kind of seems like that's kind of like not the trope, just like in movies in general, but it's kind of like the trope, kind of like in society too, where people forget about, well, this person's doing this, but this person did this, that, or the other. but you're forgiving him for this, but you're going to allow him then to give, and all of a sudden you're not. It's not even to the point where you're forgiving you. It's like you completely forgot that this person's done some monster type stuff, But
Yeah, because
yeah,
something bigger, more important took place. So we're like, now we got to focus on this, and they did.
yeah, it's.
They did. But this
I,
is one of those ones where it's like a beautiful tragic story.
mhm.
And to where, like you're saying, like you were saying earlier, Paul, with the good intentions of it, and then
Right.
being too consumed by it and closing out everyone and everything else,
Mhm.
it kind of, well, you've seen what it did. It made a monster.
Right.
And
Yeah.
not even in a sense where the monster was even bad, just made a monster.
The monster was a product of society, I believe. He was a product of what he didn't know no better. He was
Yeah.
treated. He reacted on how he was treated. Now, if he would have, I know some people are going to look at me like I'm insane, but if this monster would have been treated like maybe like a little bit of love and compassion from the get go,
Right.
instead of have Fritz whooping his ass and
Right.
and then being Dr. Henry Frankenstein being neglectful. Kind of just like letting them down there. I mean, there's like a lot of things that didn't happen. It's kind of like the same thing. I'm not going to say if you have a child brought on this earth and you treat like the kid with like a 100% love, that they're going to turn out being loving, upstanding individuals. I'm not necessarily saying that, because anything could still happen. But I would like to believe that they have a better shot of being more productive and showing more love than not. Thoughts, Paul?
So to me, I always try to think, and I haven't looked it up. I probably should have looked up who the writer was for this, but you got to think about, we're coming off World War I, so in my opinion, this is just Paul philosophy, whatever, Paul conspiracy theory. I just feel like whoever wrote this was trying to reconcile with what he just witnessed World War I, because of all the PTSD and all that. He joined, in my mind, someone joined the military with great intentions. Oh, I'm going to serve my country. I'm going to do something right. Witness all these awful things. He comes back home. He's the monster. Because you really think about it, Frankenstein's just a child in a giant's body that doesn't know. He's, like you said, he's just reacting to things. He's a product of his environment. He doesn't know right or wrong yet. And, it's just, he would have been okay if the doctor had known how to control him, or had, like you said, been compassionate with him. So I just feel like, to anything, I feel like this might be a love song from somebody coming off the war or something like that, that is just dealing with their own demons of not wondering why people are looking at him different. And he feels himself like he's a monster, even though he didn't do anything necessarily wrong. With bad intention in his heart. But that's, like I said, that's me.
No, I think that's an excellent. I think that's an excellent
really
point.
Good point.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Sir Sturdy?
I agree with a lot with what he just freaking said. That's hard to follow up. But
Paul. That's why we got you on, producer Paul. You're on your A game.
Again, going back to the tragedy and like saying how he's basically a kid in a giant's body, so he doesn't know any better. On top, he doesn't know his own strength. He doesn't know right from wrong. Like when he threw the little girl in the water and he was like laughing and clapping, he didn't know any better from that. He just threw her in the water because he just thought that was the thing to do, and that's not. Was he wrong?
Well, there's a side piece to it. He was actually kind of being taught about the water, because she was floating the flowers and stuff into the water and stuff before. So he was thinking maybe I could do the same thing with the girl. So he was thinking about it like in a playful way. So in essence, he was kind of being taught to do that, sort of. Because
he was innocent. Again, he didn't know any better. But it was like, was it wrong that he did it? It was still wrong, but he didn't know right from wrong. One. And I would kind of say it wasn't his fault, because again, he didn't know right from wrong. He didn't know not even that. He didn't know anything. He didn't know anything. So it's like the neglect. It's kind of, it shows you how people can be in society if they're neglected, 100% neglected, and then don't get the chance to learn anything.
Yeah,
they don't know. A lot of times they really don't. They could be, at an older age and still just not understand or know any better, but because of how they were brought up or whatever the case may be, to an extent, I'll say.
No, very, very true.
And he doesn't get a chance to learn. He doesn't get a chance to be taught, to be loved, really, either. So he just kind of, it's tragic. Because like, yeah, and the funny thing is, you see Frankenstein in all different variations of things, cartoons and
Yes.
shows and movies and stuff, which is
Yeah,
awesome and amazing. To
yeah.
the point where you see him, some of them you'll see him scary, some of them you'll see him funny, some of them, it's such a cool impact that what the Universal monsters really did leave on
Mhm.
I'll say culture, pop culture, because I feel like
Oh,
it's more than
I
just horror
totally
now.
agree. I
And
totally
the reason I say
agree.
more than horror because I feel like with because they make them cute now and fun
Mhm,
Right.
to where like you know what I mean. They make them cute and
Yeah.
fun
mhm.
to where it's just like once it gets to that stage, it's definitely it's. I'm not saying it wasn't stamped before, but it's definitely stamped. If you can get it to the kids and the adults,
Yeah.
why would you can't get rid of it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think nowadays is a little bit different because I wish that I know they're working on bringing back this franchise the appropriate way, but I wish they would get back to more the traditional. It doesn't need to be bloody. It doesn't need to be gory. It just needs to have
No, not
good
at all.
storytelling. It has to be suspenseful. It has to do the mind trick thing. It has to be grounded in a real world situation. It has to be something that's like believable where I could wake up tomorrow morning and all of a sudden my day could end up with this. When someone comes walking in and staring at someone gleaming, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
somebody's under control and stuff and doing some stuff.
Mhm.
That to me I think that's a thing that's missing with the horror genre right now. Like, I mean, I love it. I mean, I love seeing Michael Myers just slash and beat the shit out of somebody. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But there's things even like in the traditional, the first Halloween movie, for example, that they don't even make an attempt and try to do in the newer ones because it's some things that make it's still like the same type of trickery that's even going on in the original Halloween. Things that make
Mhm.
that movie great is what things I think of what makes this movie great, or things that even though I didn't think Dracula was as great, it's like you could see like some of the
Yeah.
ideology and stuff.
Mhm.
Because again, it's not what you see. Sometimes it's what you can sit there subconsciously see in the back of your mind is way more terrifying. Whether it's about how you were raised as a child, things that might have been terrified growing up, or I mean, it's like a whole different bunch of different things. Everyone has these triggers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with the genre itself has become a little bit lazy over the years. Has anybody got like just an opinion on that real quick? Let's start with Paul.
Okay. So I will say, because I'm gonna gleam because I love Jordan Peele, right?
Yes.
Monkey Paw
Same.
Productions, you can see it in everything they touch. You can see he watched these movies and analyzed what's going on. With
Mhm.
us, for instance, like Frankenstein. Frankenstein doesn't have a voice, and I think they did that very specifically because
Mhm.
you're gonna attach to someone when you hear their voice. Oh, they're more human. You can
Yes.
hear their empathy, their sympathy,
Mhm.
or their rage. All you hear from him are the sounds when he's rageful. You're
Yes.
basing it off his expressions. And
Mhm.
unless he's over the top happy or
Ooh.
sad, you don't 100% know what he's even thinking. He could snap. Jordan Peele, he did that with us because you had the one girl that didn't talk at all. And then
True.
you had the girl that was happy and talked to her parents and all that before she ran off and then they switched. So I
Mhm.
think scenes like that definitely tell that there are directors and production companies out there that want to bring it back.
Mm.
Candyman, Monkey Paw did that too. He
Yeah.
did that scene for the bathroom.
Mhm.
He's they're about to get slaughtered by Candyman. Like you said, all of a
Mhm.
sudden they pan the camera, you see the shadow, you hear everything, but you don't see it. And like you
Mhm.
said, whatever you make up here is 1,000 times worse than what they could have
Absolutely.
shot. And I thought that was beautiful. When I saw that shot, I was like, absolutely. Monkey Paw cares. They're
Mm.
watching these original movies and they're trying to bring them
Mhm.
back with
Mm.
the twist of today's, CGI and storytelling.
Mhm.
Um, so if I have any hope for anybody right now, it's mainly Monkey Paw because I know Jordan Peele's got the
Mhm.
realms and he loves Rod Sterling. That's why they put him on Twilight Zone.
Yes. Yes. And that I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like the original, but it's
Mhm.
it's it's still very entertaining in itself. It's to
Mhm.
me, like I'll tell you guys, I'm literally that dude. If you ever wanted to wonder what Troy Hill was doing on an evening, if you walked and turned on your TV and saw, oh,
Mhm.
the Sci-Fi Channel has the Twilight Zone marathon on right now.
Mhm.
You could go ahead and take all your life savings and bet it off to somewhere, but that Troy Hill is actually sitting there watching this shit and he's not doing any damn thing else. And his kids are sitting there with him because my
Mhm.
grandfather got me on the that stuff when I was growing up as a kid. I'd be
Mhm.
sitting up in front of him, he'd be sitting behind me, he'd just be walking and then watching. The cool thing about it is that we would always have a conversation after every episode. about what I thought and what I thought they were trying to do. So he was like trying to get me to have like an opinion. So it was like always cool in that regard. So those are
That's
like
awesome.
some of the, so that's like one of the, some of the best moments, you know, growing up as a kid for me, you know, because still like, I mean, some people I tell them what I like to watch, they look at me like I'm insane, but you know, to me, it's like, it's the purest definition of excellent storytelling in a set amount of time. You have like this little block of time, you have to tell this full-fledged story that's totally cohesive, complete all the way through. And people like that nail it all the damn time. Ray Bradbury Theater, Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, always nailed. You know, even Tales from the Crypt, not like the other ones, but they nailed a lot of TV shows, a lot of stories as well. You know, Tales from the Dark. You know, several anthology TV series like that is just excellent storytelling. It's not always about horror. It's just good stuff.
Right.
But so you guys all agree? I mean, I mean, I think Paul mentioned
better.
Frankenstein's
better.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Sir Sturdy, why do you think Frankenstein is better?
I just think it's more emotion to it. There's more you can connect to it. There's more story to it, and it just feels better. Like it's more of, I don't feel bad for Dracula. I don't care. Frankenstein, I feel bad for him because it's like you didn't get a fair shot at all, and it's not your fault.
True.
Versus, you know what I mean? Versus Dracula.
Oh, and I will mention again, the ending scene actually made a hell of a lot more sense. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was like 100% perfect, but watching Dr. Frankenstein fall off and his body across the fan blade going, and he still survived. I thought that was pretty damn funny, actually. You know, so what's your thoughts, Paul? So you're on the Frankenstein wagon.
Oh yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes. And I think it stands up today. I think, you know, because we've come so far with cinematography and everything else that we rely on for storytelling. So, like, you know, this is something I will introduce to a fellow cinephile, maybe not just an everyday movie goer, but I will challenge a friend, you know, to update it to what's current in life, you know, because that movie definitely tests, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just the value and dignity of life. Should we be creating life? You know, even with us coming up with scientific advances right now, you know, where do we draw the line with all of that? You know, things like that, or, you know, just being well aware. Like, look at Frankenstein like a Twilight Zone episode. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a length Twilight Zone episode that's cautionary for both ends. Because, like I said, even with the doctor, you can go in with great intentions and think you're doing great, and this is for everybody. You can ruin your personal life, and you could create something that someone could create to something awful.
Yes. I mean, well, like look at like just AI now, you know, your AI. I mean, hell, we all watched Terminator 10 million times. We've been warned about this shit, and
Terminator,
you know,
and then a few years later, iRobot.
Yeah. So
and then a few years later, Avengers. Age of Ultron.
And to me is like this is just a message to the kids looking into the camera and stuff. If you guys are failing any type of class and stuff right now and stuff, there's no reason on earth that anybody should fail any damn class ever with ChatGPT. Never in the history of ever. Because all we had was an Encyclopedia Britannica. You know, you had to keep the copies updated and stuff, man. You guys got it so incredibly easy. I would see so 4.0 all the way across the damn board.
Especially now. You have a computer and everything else?
Yeah, God, man, it was hard trying to do research and write a paper.
I'm going to say this. If you're a kid that's streaming, you need to be passing. You need to be passing by at least B's.
Yeah.
If you're smart enough to stream, because there's some shit with that. Hey, keep up with that. You better keep up with the damn grades. That's one thing we do preach. Even though this show isn't for children, but if you're sneaking and watching, keep your grades up. If you're watching horror with Search 30, definitely keep your damn grades up. You don't want to be like anybody.
Yeah, because now everything's literally designed in if statements. If this happens, then this must happen, and this must happen. If you're editing video, if this happens, then this has to happen, and then you have to do this. If you understand that concept, man, you guys should be straight A's. Everybody should be in Harvard. Yeah. Harvard should be like, we're turning people away, damn it. Everybody's too damn smart. But But to me, yeah, Frankenstein clearly is the better movie.
Yeah. Oh
Way
yeah.
more enjoyable. You get way more bang for your buck in amount of time. I think they're both at the same run times. What, like 70 minutes each, 75
Yeah.
minutes, something like that.
Something like that.
Definitely a more cohesive story, a way more enjoyable experience. Just an overall excellent movie. On just understanding the concept of what you can do with like with the little that you can have and a little resource and what you can actually build. And this is, I mean, it's a masterpiece. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally is. And again, it's not a knock on Dracula, because I'm sure people are like, oh,
No,
Dracula, but that's fine. But
and I'm sure
it's
there's.
not Frankenstein.
I was gonna say, I'm sure there's people that love the Dracula movie more than they love Frankenstein. They can make a good argument as to why, but to me, I'm just.
I would be interested in hear that argument, because I just don't
Yeah.
see it. And like I
Me
said,
too.
it's just our opinions.
Yeah.
We all
Oh
have
yeah.
Right.
opinions. I'm gonna respect someone's opinion if they say it's better. If they, and I'm just curious to see the reasons in this one, because I just don't see it.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's like a part. It just seems like something that wasn't perfected yet. It was a great start into the genre, but you could clearly tell that it was the first of the genre. Of that franchise.
Yeah.
So let's go to the rankings just on each one. Rankings for out of 10.
Okay.
What do you think on Dracula, Paul?
I'd still say it holds up, so I'd give it a solid at least 6. 6, yeah,
Okay.
6 out of 10.
Okay.
And then for Frankenstein, I definitely would probably still give that an 8 out of 10. 100%.
Okay.
Maybe
Very,
even
very
a 9,
good.
but an 8 at least. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good. What about you, Sir Sturdy?
Dracula. I'll say a 5. Frankenstein, 7.5.
Okay. Very, very fair. I'm going to give Dracula a 5.5 out of 10. And I'm giving Frankenstein a 9 out of 10.
Heck
Because
yeah.
I mean, I just really it's just some of the sequences and just the scenes and stuff in general, and just the overall lighting and stuff that was so damn impressive. And like I said, they had some scenes like that in Dracula, but just not on the level of Frankenstein. Fun fact about Frankenstein. Originally, Lugosi, he was supposed to actually play a Frankenstein in this movie. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Yeah.
If you go
Okay.
online, there's a picture of him dressed up as his version of Frankenstein, and it looks absolutely ridiculous. He has
I could believe that.
he has
I
a
don't-
bowl haircut. He doesn't look anything like what we got.
I'm glad they didn't use him, because I think his expression, he had kind of more of a pretty boy face to me. So Dracula makes sense, because if this wasn't Karloff, I mean, I don't think we'd have the same opinion on it that we do right now, because his expressions were so dynamic and so believable. You 100% knew what he was thinking. Just from his face.
And when he gets up out of the chair and he reaches up to the light, you just feel like a sense of just like helplessness, like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And is someone gonna show or tell or anything? Kind of just like help,
Yep.
So, yes. It's just really, really good. So I mean, I will say that Lugosi, he did end up playing Frankenstein. He played Frankenstein versus Wolfman, actually. So
okay.
he does play him at one point.
This wouldn't have went far if they went with this.
No, that wasn't that. That's him. I think that was the one with him versus Wolfman. There's another one.
Oh.
There's another one of him where he's like, he has dark skin. He has like this bowl haircut wig on his head. It has it looks crazy, dude. It looks nothing like Frankenstein at all. It's really, really weird.
Can I tell you guys my favorite Bela Lugosi movie?
What's that?
I watched it back in November when I was doing my black and white thing. But this right here,
Ganja and Hess.
The Devil Bat.
The Devil Bat.
This is fucking awesome.
So he's looking kind of Dracula-ish in that. Is that like they didn't have a license where he could be Dracula anymore? Is that what that is?
Nah, it's just a dope ass. It's dope. It is really, really, really cool.
Huh. Well, I will put that on my list, my eternal list of like 10 billion movies. I'm so damn behind. It's just
It's tough,
it
man.
it
It is.
really really is.
Yeah.
And that's like I am so thankful for these movies with these short run times and stuff. I still believe wholeheartedly that you can tell the perfect story in 90 minutes no matter what the damn story is about. But some people hit it and some people don't. I mean, the 80s made a living off that shit.
Right.
I mean, so it could be done.
I
But
love these short hour and 10-minute movies too. My damn
yeah,
self.
yeah, they're nice, especially when in the movie critic business.
Right.
they're always nice.
And
But
you're watching a lot. Yeah, yeah.
but we got one time for one segment here we like to call Around the Reel. We talk about things that's going on in the movie industry, and I kind of want to bring up the passing of Gene Hackman. It passed away last week, so we haven't had a chance to cover it. Um, what's your favorite Gene Hackman movie, Paul?
That's tough, man, because he's done so many great movies that I love. If I had to
Mhm.
choose just one, it'd probably go with the first one I watched with him, which my dad had me watch, which was The French Connection. So I
Okay.
feel like there's always that kind of sentimental, that probably,
Popeye
yeah,
Doyle, right? That was his name,
yep,
Popeye Doyle. Yep.
hmm
Okay.
yep,
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, it's either that or I'd probably say his small role in Young Frankenstein, since he was in that. Because I love Young
The Blonde,
Frankenstein.
is a great movie. It
Oh
is a
my
great
god,
movie.
I
Putting
pissed
on
myself every
the
time.
Ritz. No, I love that movie because he played the blind character, right?
hmm
Gene Hackman, yes, yes, that is a great scene. But for me, um, because it's impactful, 1979, probably one of the first movies I ever got to the movie theater to see. I was 5 years old. It would definitely be most memorable. Be him playing Lex Luthor with as Superman. I mean, it's just not gonna say it was like I'm not gonna say it was like a hard hitting, excellent role, but damn it, you know,
hmm
when I think of Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman is the first thing that crosses my mind every time. I lived through the whole, Super Friends time when there was always a Lex Luthor. I mean, that villain, I can see that guy, but I'm also seeing Lex Luthor. And Crimson Tide also. And probably like one of his more current movies before he stopped acting was The Heist.
Yeah.
Which is the dialogue in that movie is outstanding. I wish I could just be around a group of people that talk like that and shit. I'm cooler like the other side on the pillow. I'm like, damn right we are. That's what I want to be like, when I get older. But what about you, Sir Sturdy?
I'll just breeze through his movies real quick. I'll say just from memory, I haven't seen it in years. I'll say Enemy of the
Great
State,
movie.
because I I don't dive to him as much as I used to and as much as I wish I did. But like, damn near anytime Will Smith was dropping a movie, because he's one of my favorite actors. I've been watching him since I was a kid with The Fresh Prince, and then I would go make sure I see his movies. And
Yeah. Is that pre-slap or after slap? Which is he's still up there?
oh, that was I'll still look. I don't care about the slap. That
Okay,
doesn't
okay,
bother me.
okay.
It's just that I'm like, all joking aside, like, besides it being my favorite genre and me doing the horror stuff for the past 7 years now, that's like my number one thing. Is like, what? Not that I don't watch anything else, but my number one focus as far as film is strictly horror stuff. So I miss a lot of other things, and I'll go check them out here and there when I can or whatever. But Will Smith is definitely what made me watch that movie. But that's I'd have to say that's one that's probably one of my favorites of his that he was
Yeah,
in.
I would say another guilty pleasure if you guys ever get a chance. There was a thing like in the '70s. A lot of disaster movies were out. My favorite disaster movie of all time, like right now to this day, is still Towering Inferno. Hands down, to me, it's just a treat. Love watching. I can watch that all day, every damn day. But he was in a disaster movie is also called what's called the Poseidon Adventure. They made a remake in like the 2000s, I believe. It was about a cruise line that crashes and whatever, and it turns upside down the water, and you know, and hell and all hell breaks loose or whatever the case may be. But you might want to check that movie out too. That's a nice little treat as well. But we're starting to run out of time here. This show has actually been excellent. I've had a wonderful time, and Paul, we want to because we're calling this a Legends of Horror. We might have a cooler name
Yeah.
the next run, but this is volume one. But we'd like
Right.
to invite you a month from today for
Okay.
volume two when we talk about two other monster legends. And we got one pick, so we got to figure out what's going to be the second. So what's a creature from the Black Lagoon? That's the one we're going to talk about. One of them, right? And are
Mhm.
we still talking about Universal movie monsters, since we're in that kind of like in that realm right now. So do we want to do that in Wolfman, or what do we want to do? Or the
Um,
Bride of Frankenstein, or
I'm down with whatever.
okay, well, we're gonna leave it to Paul.
Ooh.
Because I want to talk about this one. Let's do the Invisible Man. and the
Oh,
Ooh,
man. Okay.
Yeah.
yes, yeah. There's a lot of cool quotes from that
Creature from the
movie.
Black Lagoon and the Invisible Man. That's gonna be a fun
Something
one.
about yada yada, but it ends with like, but nobody can still see me, or something like that. It's like a real like sad type of. It's like a
What was
sad
it?
type of thing.
I think it was 13 Ghosts, the OG 13 Ghosts. Like, it made me realize how much I love and enjoy those silly sounds that we laugh like the ooh. And then what made me think about it, right? What was like watching that, right? And then I'm like, holy shit. You know why I'm locked into this stuff and why I love this stuff is because I've been watching it since I was a kid. Scooby Doo had all that stuff in there. Ooh, all that because Scooby Doo was old as hell. I didn't know it as a kid. It's
No,
kind of
no, yeah, the Scooby Doo. There's plenty different versions of that show. I mean,
yeah, but I
I,
mean, as a little kid though, when you're watching a cartoon, you just see a cartoon with dogs talking and some fun
yeah,
stuff, funny stuff. And if you're into horror, you kind of get some stuff with that. So it's just like, oh yes, this works for me. And
yeah. It's funny about when
yeah,
you mention Scooby Doo, just because the fact that anytime any generation has watched that show, you would have sworn it was just brand new and it was just came out and stuff. Because I'm sitting there thinking, when they had I used to love the one when they had the special guests, or they had like Don Knotts and Batman and Robin and
the Globetrotters.
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this shit just came out, but that
Hell
shit
yeah.
was like even 15 years ago for me, So yeah, it's kind of crazy about Scooby Doo, and it's always. I mean, I don't think anybody loves Scooby Doo all the way across the board. I do think they like their specific program or version of it. Like the special guest for me was just
for me, I'll probably be more prone to watching the older ones than I am the new, as far as the ones that came before me than after me. The ones that came during my time though are my shits. And of course, but then again, the ones that came before me I probably was watching anyway. So
yeah.
But it's so dope how all that ties into what we're discussing with film and I mean Frankenstein. Frankenstein was in Scooby Doo. I'm sure Dracula was in Scooby Doo. The Universal monsters were definitely in Scooby Doo. So that just shows you how important the Universal monsters are, and actually how important Scooby is. Boom.
Yep, and one day and stuff we got to talk about Monster Squad, because Monster Squad was a big damn deal when I was growing up as a kid. I'm like, man, this guy's everybody in it. It's all the monsters. So that's definitely something we got to delve in. But Paul, where can we find you on social media these days?
So we've been on kind of a hiatus recently, but we are I am part of the Scene Snobs podcast with host Mick Manhattan, and yeah, I think we'll be starting back. I think this month. I think we're still supposed to launch again.
Okay,
but yeah. Look me up on there, and I'm trying to get back into my interview processes of interviewing people that grew up with Frankenstein. I want to do an interview with my dad about Frankenstein because I did one with The Exorcist, so I'm hoping kind of
that would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
no, but yeah, the scene snob. I will say the scene snobs is some.
Oh, they're dope.
It's some nice stuff, and I will say, I'm a big supporter and a big fan of their show. I mean, because they allowed me on their program like several months ago and stuff, and I will never forget that because that was my first time being on anybody's podcast. So, that worked out, and then then I met Sir Sturdy, and we've all been like chugging along ever since and stuff. So it's been a really, really good experience for me. I'm very, very thankful for it. So I want to thank each of you guys actually because. You guys just make it just fun and just make it worth everything and stuff. So Sir Sturdy, where can we find you?
You could find me every Thursday at 8:00 Eastern time over on Horror with Sir Sturdy. You could Google it or YouTube, whatever you want to do, but I'm right over there doing the live shows as well as gaming and all other fun stuff on on my channel. And you can also find me on Popcorn and Pints. And
very
we are
good
going
show.
through the Bond films right now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't remember which two we're gonna be doing next. I believe
I think it's Moonraker, and I forgot the other one. I think I saw
good. I love Moonraker.
Me too.
Moonraker.
I like all anyone with Roger Moore's in it. I'm down.
Yeah, yo, listen. Sean who?
That's what I've been saying it forever, but that's
And I
My
already
my
and
time frame. I explained in my time frame growing up. Roger Moore was Bond in movie theaters still, so that's who I identify with.
no,
You know,
I completely understand that, but just from watching the Connery films and the one gentleman's film, I don't remember his name,
something
and then the one
Lassenby.
there you go, something Lazenby, there you go,
Yeah,
and then the one
Jimmy John,
and
sub
then the last
Lazenby.
Connery film, and then like so our one episode we had a Connery film versus a Roger Moore film, and I'm like, this is completely different. And I know it was the last Connery film, so you can't really go by that. But I'm just going by what I've seen from his whole thing to what I've seen from the few Roger Moore that we watched so far.
Mhm.
Roger Moore's are just way better. Starting from the very first, going movie for movie, every movie is better that I've seen so far.
Way more funner experiences for me. Not saying that it's the
Way
right
better.
answer, but just way more fun for me.
But it's a
go
fun
ahead.
ride. So come check us out on Popcorn and Pints. And Paul, I would love for you to interview me on a movie or something. I think it'd be a good time. And I would love for you to come over on Horror They're Starting. Come kick it with us sometimes.
I need to. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, interview me too about anything. About the
Yes, I want to go
the-
Twilight Zone with you.
I have a great one. I'll tell you guys off air.
Okay.
I have a great one. I'll tell you guys off air.
All right, but quickly, you can find me at Troy Hill Talks on YouTube, the one that your channel that you're watching right now. You also can find me at I am Troy Hill on Instagram. Funny story about that one day and stuff. Somebody wanted me to give up my name, and that's hard when I'm literally Troy Hill, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then get mad that I don't want to change my name for my name being my name. That's a special kind of fun. But
Wow.
you can also find me at Troy Hill Talks Movies on TikTok, where I'm going to be doing a music set tomorrow evening, Friday night and Saturday night from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. So the standard, we play disco, we play hip hop, we play R&B, a little bit of Southern rock, a little bit of classic rock, all the way up and down the music genre. So
What about wait? What about polka?
I'm not going to even listen to Sir Sturdy didn't say nothing. You can also find me this week with some new programming. You can find actually several shorts of the show that you're seeing right now. Also can find several reviews this week. Took the week off this week because I had some doctor stuff I got to take care of. But yeah, well, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. But be doing a review on the documentary of Richard Pryor, The Omit to Logic, because it's one of my favorite documentaries. Also going to be doing diving into more black cinema with I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, a review for Hollywood Shuffle, and also an additional review because I was on Popcorn and Pints talking about Live and Let Die. I'm also going to do a small review video on that as well because that is my favorite Bond movie, hands down. But anyways, on behalf of myself, Sir Sturdy, and producer Paul, we wish you guys a wonderful evening. We'll see you guys next time here in 2 weeks here at Troy Hill Talks, where we keeping it real